Student career training doesn't always start at a four-year institution. Sometimes it's at a community college, sometimes even before that. Students have new tools now to help learn about human and animal anatomy in a way they couldn't do in the past. Synthetic products are popping up at educational institutions across the country, and Benji Jeffords has this as well.
We're going to find some of our major blood vessels today.
Students enrolled in biology and the Emergency Medical Service program at John A. Logan College will begin to learn from the Cadaver synthetic surgical model. The synthetic cadaver looks and feels like a real human and is anatomically correct. Professor of Biology and Life and Physical Science Department Chair Cheryl Thomas says the school started looking for a new way for students to learn for just over a year.
We started the process of trying to find something that better suited our students in their quest for learning human anatomy. Up to this point, we had always used small mammal dissections and things like that. We oftentimes will use cats for dissection, and it doesn't always translate well for learning human anatomy.
Gather around.
With the help of the Delta Regional Authority and the state's Economic Development Assistance Program, the college received a grant to purchase 2 synthetic cadavers.
What is this longest vein right here in the body?
Thomas says after considering the options for their cadaver, they wanted something that could be used long term.
They have one option that is even more lifelike, feels like skin, looks like skin, but you have to store that in a water tank, and then there's annual upkeep that you have to do.
Thomas says these products will get a lot of use in multiple classes.
Annually, probably between 500 and 750 students will run through our classes and use this.
The Cadaver company held an education giveaway that chose 8 entries at random. Out of more than 2,200 entries, 2 winners were in Paducah, Kentucky. The West Kentucky Community and Technical College won a G2 anatomy model, and Paducah Tillman High School won 30 Sin Frogs and a copycat. Biology teacher Nancy Broyles recently received her products and can't wait for her students to use them.
It's a great way for the students to learn without having to deal with the formalin and the smell. The realistic touch for the students is going to be great.
Broyles says some students have difficulties when it comes to dissecting mammals.
Especially with the cats, that was always something that was a little difficult for people to get past because they looked so they were real cats. And that was always something that just turned a lot of people off of anatomy. And now with the Sin cat, then that makes it a whole lot more interesting. They can do the dissection and it doesn't look as realistic.
Both teachers believe these products will fix a solution that everyone remembers about biology class.
It smells a lot better, yes.
You also had the problem with kids smelling that formalin smell, and a lot of times that made kids really uncomfortable. And it was something that became a real problem as time went on.
Broyles says the frogs and cats can have their stomachs replaced with what the company calls a puck after each dissection.
The fact that we can use these over and over without having to worry about the cost of replacing them every year, just having to replace the pucks and the frogs and just having to sew up the cat is going to be fantastic.
These are supposed to be the femoral arteries. They are, I think, a little bit oversized, but still a great representation.
Thomas says there's a lot of regulations for providing real cadavers for students that many community colleges just can't afford. But this option has less rules and cost.
This Cadaver was very expensive. Again, thanks to the grant, we were able to acquire 2. But because we will use this semester after semester, it was really one upfront cost. Even comparing it to purchasing our small mammal specimens, we will eventually save money because we just reuse this over and over.
Until I show you in here.
And their model does not require a lot of maintenance after it's used.
Because it's silicone, it can wipe clean. The other exciting thing is when we do a lab exam, we call them lab practicals, we will often stick pins in things. And the silicone is forgiving that you can stick a pin in, and when you pull it out, it sort of self-seals. But we could also use reusable adhesive, and it comes right off. And then if we get anything on the Cadaver, we just wipe it clean, soap and water, or just a soft, wet cloth. cloth.
Brachial vein.
Thomas says giving students access to a learning tool like this will make them prepared for the career they choose.
I think it's going to be a better translation between this and nursing, or this and medical class, pre-med classes. And many of our students will go on to SIU or another university where they will take an actual class with a cadaver. They'll have a leg up having used this. It will definitely help them.
Broyle says she's amazed how realistic the sin frogs are.
In 20 years of me teaching, I've never seen anything like this, and I think this is going to be revolutionary for our anatomy program and for the biology program. I think a lot of teachers are going to be very excited about this.
Thomas says she's never seen her students this excited about anatomy class during her career.
Every time I pull her out, I just get the biggest smile on my face. And then when I get to see students in there, it's just so good. I'm so happy for the students and their opportunity.
For InFocus, I'm Benji Jeffords.